All right, I chose, fortunately or unfortunately, you want to say the title, Chauncey? Because I keep jumbling these words together.
The Night Comes for Us.
The Night Comes for Us, a bloody, bloody, bloody movie with some exceptional fight scenes and some that were just so cringeworthy. I had to cover my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, well, so action movies are something I never watch, but every time I do watch them, I end up loving them and watching them until the end.
Yeah.
So I sort of went into this one begrudgingly.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus it was something that, I get made fun of a lot because I have a hard time watching movies with subtitles because I feel like I'm extra committed and I can't distract myself with something else if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went into this begrudgingly, but then I ended up just getting totally sucked into it.
Now, have you seen The Raid, Chauncey?
No.
Oh, okay. Because the director of that produced this film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's a new director, but if you've seen The Raid, then a lot of the kind of action, the fluidity of the action and the way he frames his shots, it's obvious that he's influenced by, the director of The Raid.
Right. Yeah. Well, it definitely had cool directing.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I thought the acting was good, save for the little girl. And good child actors are hard to find in any country.
I would say impossible.
Yeah.
Absolutely impossible. But this one also had really cool lighting, like we were talking about in the last one. The lighting in this one was it wasn't quite Suspiria level, but it definitely had like dim lighting with red on one side and blue on the other and yellow across the face,
where it always feels like that weird time between dawn or dusk.
Yeah.
No, it's the lighting you get when you've woken up far too early and you're not going outside for a cigarette anymore, but if you were to,
right,
at 5:30 in the morning, that's the kind of lighting they're using throughout the film.
That's funny. Yeah, definitely. Have you ever seen Suspiria, the original?
No, I haven't.
We're going to have to watch that one. That one is just directorially lighting, hard line, hard lights, bright colors. And a lot of movies, when I see it, it makes me think of that.
Well, we will put it on the list.
All right. And, like you were saying with the kid, man, bad acting in other languages, in my opinion, becomes all the more obvious to me because other cultures, I think, act badly in different ways.
Yeah, see, I was thinking about that, and I wondered, since we're watching people, we don't understand the language, so you've got an issue where you don't know what the cadence and the tone are supposed to be to begin with. How many bad actors are there from foreign countries where if they were to show that movie in the native language in that country, they'd be like, oh, this is terrible, but poured it outside of that country, and suddenly, it's great. Looking at the massive success of, a film like Avengers overseas, how much of that is because, if we're sending these movies out overseas and they're bad, but they do really well, how much of that is because they just got really good voice actors to cover up the shitty acting from the film?
Right. Yeah. And really, what are we doing to the world if we're so influential on a movie level? We keep sending out these big budget, terrible acting movies.
Yeah. I mean, look at, something like, God, what's a good example? Trying to think of basically a version of an Adam Sandler film, but international in terms of
Adam
success.
Sandler films.
Let's go with something like The Meg. I mean, I didn't see it, didn't get great reviews, probably acted as well as you're gonna get from Jason Statham and Rose. What's her name? No, the woman who's gonna play the new Batgirl.
Oh, Amber Rose.
Amber Rose. There we go. Yeah. I mean, your level of acting, it's going to be low, but slap a different voice on them or even subtitle it to audience who doesn't know that, English language is necessarily supposed to follow a certain flow. And they're not going to see all the problems with it.
No, no. You know, speaking of which, it's a bit off topic, but you know, I watch a fair amount of cartoons and some of it's anime, and I'm always looking for the dub version instead of the subtitled version. And people
Hmm.
are just all like, "Oh, the subtitle's so better, so much better," and stuff like that. I'm all, it was dubbed to begin with. It's a cartoon. I can watch it dubbed if
This
I
is
want to.
true.
You know, it was
Yeah,
never anything but dubbed. But when it comes to a movie, I get it. You know.
yeah, yeah.
But
But back to the film
yeah, go for it.
itself. Um, I enjoyed it for what it was. If you're willing to, toss away, to me, it poses the great question of how many lives is a single life worth? Because for our audience members who haven't seen the movie, the rough plot is high level ranking, basically Yakuza super assassin, uh, has a turn of heart, saves a girl, betrays his order, and then the rest of the movie is trying to save this girl.
Right. Yeah.
Now, my
After
question
a whole
is,
village is already killed too.
after a whole village is already killed, but based on how many people he kills and gets killed in the film, how many years of life is this little girl's life worth itself?
Totally. Was
Yeah,
there no redemption for these people?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I understand the old Grizzly ones where he's like, ooh, I'm going to rope in my 45-year-old friends who used to be badasses, which is a total lie because everybody's like 30 in this movie.
Right.
But for for age's sake here, I'm going to pull in my older friends. They're all grizzled and angry, and they've all hurt a bunch of people, and now they want to redeem themselves, blah, blah, blah. He also brings in his, like, 18-year-old cousin,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So what's our age difference there? We're talking 10 years between the 8-year-old girl and the 18-year-old cousin, but now the cousin's dead too?
Yeah. Spock would not have been all right with this.
No.
Spock would have given the needs of the many speech and just been done with it.
Yeah, well, I think it's a really fair point in this film.
Yeah, I agree. But you know,
Yeah,
you got to get. It's an action movie, just like with everything.
it
Like I was saying,
is.
with horror movie, you need visuals. With action, you need action. You know, and it definitely had that. I liked how quickly it moved through the plot. You know, it definitely wasn't slow, but I actually found it a little confusing at times. Like I had to reconstruct what he was actually doing with the butcher. It's like now all of a sudden he's there for some money with the butcher, but it wasn't really very well explained.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you.
But of course, I'm a sucker for a
Like
butcher
I didn't
fight.
know why. Yeah, I didn't know why the butcher was holding on to his money to begin with.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and also, it was easy to forget how long he'd been away. So how much time has actually passed between the butcher betraying his group and running off the money versus I don't, the other crew just making money on their own.
yeah. But it definitely made up for itself being an action movie by having that butcher scene just be awesome.
Oh yeah, no, that was super sweet. Yeah.
And the guy who he was like going after was such a slimy little dude. It was really awesomely put together. They had some really awesome characters.
They did, and
Like White Boy
I've got to
Bobby.
say, yeah, no, White Boy Bobby was great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
on the subject of White Boy Bobby, also, if a character's sacrificing himself for you, don't stick around. Run away.
Oh yeah.
Jotzi. That's
Oh yeah.
it's one of the most painful parts to me in movies when they do this. When a guy's like, get out of here, get out of here. I'm about to basically kill myself for you. And his friend stands around and wastes valuable seconds.
Right. Watching him kill himself as the
Yeah.
guy thinks he's doing something, but then looks back and sees that his friend's there.
He's
And he
still
never once
there.
says, "What the hell are you doing?"
Right? That would be the first thing out of my mouth.
I'd be all kinds of pissed if I was White Boy
Oh
Bobby.
yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and White Boy Bobby for one. I don't think he's white. I had to look up the actor on this one, and he not that he I care if he's not that there's anything wrong with that, but he is like a model actor in the area. It's funny that they made him look so kind of like squirrely and messed up when he's actually more of a model than he is an actor.
That's funny because his performance reminded me of like Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
That was
he
that was
like,
the vibe I got. If you were doing an American remake, he would be White Boy Bobby in this. American
Yeah,
remake.
totally. Yeah, he was like, and it would be perfect because he would be Benicio. He wouldn't be that white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which also made me notice in the movie. I'm not sure if it's. I think it was in the Philippines,
Hmm.
and it was like interestingly multi-ethnic.
Yeah,
It
yeah. There was a lot of talk about mainland people versus non-mainland people, and that, that culturally definitely went more over my head than anything else.
right, and as a typical American, I don't know much about diversity in that part of the world, but I was under the impression that we were dealing with a lot of Chinese people, a lot of Japanese people, a lot of South China people,
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
what I took
different
away as
types of
far as
people.
mainland. I thought mainland, they were primarily
Right.
discussing China,
Yeah,
especially considering, China thinks they have the rights to all the surrounding land.
totally. And they had the crazy Norwegian chick,
Yeah, yeah.
with the shaved head and stuff, and so it definitely had this Tarantino, Elmore Leonard kind of like fictitious world of multi-ethnic gangsters,
Hmm.
which I
Which is
liked.
fun. It makes
Yeah,
it feel like it spans the like, it makes it feel like a global gang. It makes it feel like there's all these players in
yeah,
all these other countries,
yeah. It
who
just makes
this
the
are
world bigger
depending on
than.
this heroin trade and da da da.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes the world bigger than. But depending on the heroin trade, that was something I liked too, the Six Seas, it had that whole samurai ninja movie aspect there too. So
Yeah.
you could tell that the director was just sort of like Tarantino in the sense that he was just sort of a fan of all different sorts of things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it pulled in a lot of different aspects of the genre as a whole, and I thought melded them quite well. Um, Surprisingly enough, like I have seen group fights I'm a fan of, like the hallway fight in Old Boy, for instance.
Yeah.
Uh, Here, I didn't really care for the group fights because I thought they were so gory. But the female fight at the end, I thought was the best fight of the film. And then, of course, when he's in a one-on-one fight with his rival, I thought that was
The
a really good one
climax.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so too. The female fight I think is funny. If the at least with the superhero movies, I don't watch a lot of American action movies, but
Hmm.
I watch all the superhero movies. And like in the beginning, they were still holding on to this world of the female fight. And but now in this post Harvey Weinstein world, um, luckily people are getting away from the female fight. So I definitely, when I saw the female fight, I'm just all, oh, this is weird. They're pitting the girl against the girl.
Yeah.
Where like through the 80s and 90s, there was always the like second tier character girl versus girl fight while the main fight was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad, I'm glad that they didn't necessarily. It didn't feel quite as segmented to me because we did establish that the people she's fighting are badass enough to seriously injure slash kill our main character.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
felt like that was a good way to establish her independently as just as strong as him. In that, he's already gone up against these characters she's fighting now, and he had to escape.
Yeah, I agree. Just for me, it was like a bit of social commentary to look at it and go, we really don't see this in America anymore. Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, it
But
is a good thing. It's a
it was
hundred
definitely
percent a
an
good thing.
awesomely done
I
fight.
think I think everyone should fight everyone, Chauncey.
Yeah, totally.
A fist doesn't have a gender.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm an
I just
equal.
I honestly, that was my favorite fight because I really like the small scale better. I feel like
Tyler
you
fights women all the time.
all the time. Yeah, I really like the small scale fights better because I feel like you get a better idea for their movements. To me, when you're watching this in-depth choreography, you're almost watching kung fu ballet, whatever
Yeah,
you want to call it. Hey,
yeah,
it's so well thought out, and I like those sideways shots where it's one person facing the other, and you really get to see their hand movements and their leg movements. And I thought that fight was one of the better examples where the camera's not moving as much, um, and a lot more focus on what they're doing and how they're fighting, which I always think is interesting.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I totally appreciated that about it because, like, that's what I like about martial arts films is that
Yeah. Yeah.
to sort of see the action going on. Like, I don't, I watch all the big budget cartoon stuff. Obviously, I was talking about the cartoons earlier. So, like, watching the Transformers movies, I never even know what's going on. I'm all, oh, some metal's
So
moving
it's
around.
just
Somebody's
a
gonna win.
blur of CGI robot body parts.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I never know what's going on,
It's like,
until it's over, and I'm all, oh, we must have won.
yeah, no, it's like throwing a Lego model at a wall and
Yeah,
seeing it
totally.
explode and trying to pick out an individual Lego and what's
Right.
happening with it.
Yeah,
It's just a
yeah.
mess of color. You don't know
It
what's
has
going on.
it has all the choreography of hucking a drum set down the stairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I definitely appreciate that, and from the little that I know of movies from the Asian cultures, man, they do it way better than us. Like 90s movies of Chow Yun Fat from China have some of just the raddest fight choreography.
Oh
And a lot of
yeah.
them aren't even necessarily martial arts films. They're these sort of like die-hard type films because Chow Yun Fat was not necessarily the martial arts guy. He was the jump around with guns guy.
Yeah.
And they still just had this beautiful choreography.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, certainly be interesting to look at cinematography and how it varies from country to country.
Yeah, yeah, it's just so hard to find it, and it's weird. We live here in America, and here I am of this self-made lame pop culture historian or whatever I like to jokingly refer to myself as.
Yeah.
But really, my grasp of the world's arts is really our own that we have exported to them and told them how great it was. When really they have their own stuff going on. You watch movies from England as the horror movie junkie. I watch horror movies basically horror films out of the Commonwealth. Anything in the English Commonwealth are like totally the best, and I'm just all, is it because they have less money or what is it? Do they have?
I would
vision?
disagree. I still think The Eye, the original Japanese version of that film, is one of my favorites. My first introduction to horror, to like deep horror, was the original Ring.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, no,
PG-13.
I mean they yeah. I think they're really good with the ghost stories. So I guess we'd have to differentiate between horror and ghost. And if you're going non-gothic ghost story, like Asia's got it hands down.
Maybe we
If
need
you're
to
going for
start
gothic horror, then I think the Commonwealth probably has it beat.
Maybe we need a side project of finding the best Asian horror because you're right. There's a lot of it out there, and I've avoided it because I'm embarrassed to say it, but because of the subtitles, I avoid it.
Oh, Chauncey, don't avoid it. There's some like, if we want to talk about cinematography, this is one of the most chilling scenes in any horror movie I've ever seen. It's in The Eye. She's in an elevator. You can't see anything behind her, but they slowly move the camera, and you realize that there's this ghost facing the wall in the elevator, just hovering inches off the ground. And it slowly starts turning, and she's stuck in a moving elevator with this turning ghost. As you slowly, it's slowly revealed that there's a giant dent in his head because his head is caved in. It's gripping and terrifying.
All right, you're selling me.
Yeah.
You are definitely selling me. I am trying to live this life where I slow down.
I thought you were going to say where I never have to read.
No, my opposition to that is because I constantly feel like I should be doing multiple things because I feel like, I got stuff to do or something like that. But I'm trying to consciously slow down with my life. So I think I'm going to have to start forcing some subtitled movies in at least once a week. Maybe that's part of my therapy.
I think it's a solid plan. There's plenty of subtitled movies I'm happy to introduce you to, Chauncey.
Yeah, because I really enjoyed The Night Comes For Us. And I think the fact that it was subtitled and I had to stare at it and really pull myself into it definitely helped me with the movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that, and I think even in a standard movie, if you don't pay attention for a second, you can miss a line. And with subtitles, I feel like it absolutely got another opportunity to fully take in what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have an exercise bike I never use with a TV all mounted above it. My wife so nicely set it up in the corner with the TV mounted, just like like the club.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Cool.
I never
Cool.
use it, and I've been thinking I need to use that thing while watching subtitled stuff because then I don't have to be too worried about the volume.
Hey, exercise for both of us, Chauncey, because my bike is in the garage and also on OfferUp for $30.
You just gave up.
I did. I did.
Was that the missus told you to either use it or get rid of it?
Kinda. I mean, it was just sitting downstairs in the basement, so I figured I might as well move it to the garage since it's not being used no matter where it is.
Right. Because you're getting married soon, aren't you?
I am married. I got married.
Oh, it did happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long ago did it happen?
3 weeks now.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thanks,
absolutely
Chauncey.
awesome. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's nice. It feels a lot like it did before. But
Right.
now I got a ring on my finger.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she liked it.
Yeah.
So she put a ring on it.
Yeah. No. It was quiet, it was small, and we're gonna do a bigger party later in the summer.
Well, awesome. And she is she a movie fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say less on the subtitles, probably more on the mainstream. But I don't like going to the movie theater, and almost the only time I ever go is when she drags me to the movie theater.
I see. Yeah.
I don't like paying a bunch of money for popcorn.
I don't either.
I don't like not being able to pause something and go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I do love going to the theater, but my wife hates it.
Yeah.
And so we never go to the theater. She doesn't necessarily like hate the experience. It's just back pain and stuff like that. So she,
Oh yeah, that's understandable.
she doesn't want to sit there for 2 hours, and so I just never go. I think since my 17-year-old daughter was born, I've probably seen 4 or 5 movies in the theater.
Yeah. Do you have any cheap theaters by your house? Because that definitely makes it more tempting.
Yeah, the Meg is playing
me
it right now.
Oh, nice.
So I might be going to see the Meg this weekend.
I mean, you can't really go wrong with a B-grade shark movie.
No, you can't. Did you watch Deep Blue Sea?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
With that awesome speech by Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh yeah. No, that movie's great for all the wrong reasons, but it's great.
But I mean, Jaws, Jaws was wonderful. Wonderful movie. Definitely the first super blockbuster film. And it was worth it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you've got innovative filming techniques. I'm sure that you've heard all of the nightmare stories about the robot shark that I have.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
you're dealing with a giant prosthetic shark that's breaking 24/7.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a Herculean effort if you think about it. It was a trial to get that film made.
Yeah, and to make a movie, we just don't really live in a world where they make movies with that sort of topic of that caliber any longer. It's like now we have Wrong Turn, we don't have Deliverance. Now we have The Meg, we don't have Jaws. I
guess we have I don't know. They still try, I suppose. The Gray is what first came to mind for me when you said we don't have movies like that anymore. I think
I didn't see that one. Was that good?
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a downed airplane, a bunch of guys in the woods, and a pack of wolves are stalking them.
Is it down the lines of The Edge?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely down the lines of The Edge.
Yeah, The Edge was good.
Yeah. Yeah, The Gray was mediocre. It's not.
All right. Well,
it was no Edge. I actually liked The Edge, and The Gray was so.
All right. Well, all right. That's it for our first gig. You've been listening to Terra Monstrum. He's Tyler. I'm Chauncey. Check us out next time.
We'll see you next week.